Every hours, 1 billion of cells dies and 1 billion of cells grow in our body. So today we are going to discuss about these things, how does these cells grow in our body. So good morning my dear children, I BIVEK Rai, a teacher trainee of Siliguri Tarai B.Ed College. So today we are going to discuss a new topic, cell cycle and cell division. In my previous class, I had discussed about the cell, and in next class I had discussed about the chromosome and its structure. So that knowledge will be much helpful to in today's session. So without getting late, let's move to our today's topic, the cell cycle and the cell division. So before starting the topic, I would like to say all of you that this topic is very important from exam point of view. You cannot neglect or skip this topic because this topic is related with your higher studies and you have to make a clear concept about this topic. So I hope you got my point, and let's start the topic. Topic cell cycle and cell division. So what is cell division, cell cycle and cell division? So the cell cycle means the cycle of stages that cell passes through to allow them to divide and produce new cell, and the process of producing and dividing new cell is called the cell cycle. Got it? And this process of dividing the new cell is known as the cell division, and the cell division was first discovered by the scientist named Prevost and Dumans in 1824. Uh, the basic means of cell division is this, like if this is the cell, then it divide into two cell. Then so this cycle we are going to study this cycle only, and the cell cycle can be also called as the life cycle of this cell. So next one, phases of cell cycle. There are two main phases of cell cycle, that is interphase and M phase. M phase also means as mitotic phase. In interphase is of three types. G1 phase, S phase and G2 phase. There are three phases in the interphase, and the human cells takes around 24 hours to complete one cycle of the growth and division. So to divide one cell to another, it takes 24 days. That is 1 day for human in the human body. So next one, cell cycle. So I will explain this phases of cell cycle through this diagram. So let's have a look. This G1 S phase and G2 phase is known as the interphase, and this is bigger phase. This is a bigger phase than this phase. This is known as the S phase. Oh no, sorry, this phase is known as the M phase, mitosis phase. So in this interphase there are three phases, that is G1 phase, S phase and G2 phase, and this whole process is known as the cell cycle, and the cell division takes part in this phase, mitosis phase, this part, which is known as M phase. So the next one is interphase. So interphase is also known as the preparatory phase, which means that the cell prepares itself to divide or to have a DNA replication. It is also called as the resting phase because it is a non-dividing phase where cell does not divide but are active during this phase. During interphase, what will happen is cell does not divide like this, but the cell prepare itself it needs some types of protein, amino acid to grow the cell, so it prepare for the next phase. So it occupies interface occupies up to 90%, 95% of time in this cycle. So only 5% of time is occupied by the M phase, that is mitotic phase. So I think you have a question that how cell are going to prepare, and this answer is cell gather all the substances such as RNA which are needed in the cell division. RNA, amino acid, proteins, proteins which are gathered in this cell at this phase. So the next one is, so interphase has three phases, that is first growth phase, which is also known as G1 phase, second synthesis phase, and third one is growth phase, second growth phase. So we are looking in the first phase, that is first growth phase. Mm. During this phase, the cell is metabolically active and continues to grow without replication its DNA, without replicating its DNA. So what does this means is, so what does the metabolically active means? So metabolically active means that reaction occurs inside the cell. Those reaction are occurring inside the cell is called the metabolically active. And the uh, in this growth phase, the RNA and protein are synthesis in this phase, which means that if there is a cell, then the RNA, proteins, protein are synthesized in this phase. And the next one is synthesis phase. In this phase is much important than other phase because uh, DNA replication takes place in this phase. So have you ever heard the word DNA replication? DNA replication is a process of formation of two identical DNA molecules from one parent strand. So DNA replication means that I have shown the images of DNA replication process here. This is the parent one, parent DNA. So you know that DNA is double helical structure, just like so. After replication in this phase, what happens? This there are two strands, this blue one and red one. So at this stage, the replication takes place, which means that this will divide into two daughter helicals, the daughter DNA. That is this one, and this one. This is two daughter cells, daughter cell, daughter DNA. Sorry, daughter DNA. So this is the important phase. So and in this phase, that chromosome will also double in this phase. Chromosome number will also double in this phase. If the DNA in this, if the DNA in this in the cell is, suppose if the DNA in this cell is 2n, then in this phase it will be, after replication it will becomes 4n. So the last phase of interphase is known as the G2 phase or second growth phase. So in this phase, it is also known as the post DNA synthesis phase, which means that this phase is after the DNA replication. After the DNA replication. So it is the period between the end of DNA synthesis and the start of cell division, which means that this period comes after the end of DNA replication and the start of the cell division. So it is important to remember that which phase comes after another phase. I have already told you that this topic is very much important according to the exam point of view. And this second growth phase takes only 10 to 25% of time in this phase. In this phase, the cells grows more, and all the metabolic activities concerning the growth of cytoplasm are performed in this phase. So this much for today's class, and in my next class I will discuss the another phase called M phase, that is mitotic phase. So I hope you all understand today's topic. So thank you.